Would you be mine?
Good morning, guys. Hi.
Is she muted?
Yeah, Kathy, you're muted.
How's that? Can you hear me better now?
I can hear you.
I think Jen's there.
I'm here with my new workout partner.
Aw. Hi, Ash. Hi, Anthony.
Let's go. Anthony, you don't look like you're ready.
Are you still?
I have a workout partner too.
Aww.
Yes, the new furry ones. I was like, nobody needs to see this flock of seagulls' hair right now. That's why I turned my camera off. Hey, Ashley.
Hi.
Here, does everybody else have coffee?
I was like, I'm just going to sit here and eat breakfast and watch people do things.
Got my mom fuel.
Hi, Jess. Good morning. We should just have coffee time on here. I like that.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
That's mobility for my right arm.
Great. I see that Tom is on there, but I can't see Tom. Can you hear us, Tom?
Must be an Ashby thing.
All right, we have a few more people joining. Hi, Stace. Hi, Dan. Frank.
Good morning.
Morning. Yeah, we're gonna give it just a couple more minutes so we can just join and kind of like figure it out for the first time. Everybody figure out how to log in okay and get yourself set up.
Yep.
Up, here's Pete. I'm admitting him. Our camera's right there, Nick, and our phone.
How can I see?
Well, I'm
oh, there you go.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, where are you taking us?
Nick's like, where's the camera on here?
I meant awesome.
Hi, Pete. We see you. Pete's in his flannel.
Oh yeah, baby.
Wow.
Oh, hi, Gracie. I see. Is she in there, Dan?
Oh, cool.
No. I see it bouncing around.
Anthony.
Here's Casey.
Wow, there's so many people.
I know. This is great, guys. Thanks for joining us. We wanted to just get on here together so that we could all figure out how to use this. It's kind of a learning experience for us too. The coaches have been practicing doing some Zoom calls, but should the time come, or when the time comes, I should say, that we do need to close, this is how we're going to host our classes. So we're going to go to virtual classes. Our coaches are all going to kind of rotate and take turns hosting classes for you guys. So we thought this would be just kind of a good practice session. Hey, Jesse, so that we could all figure this out for both your side and our side. We'll be recording this so that everybody can rewatch it. So if somebody wasn't able to join at the times that we're hosting classes, we'll be able to play this back and somebody could join in that way as well. So I think we have most people on. Should we get started?
Yeah.
All right. So, see if you can maybe back yourself up, Nick.
Yeah.
Like way back.
You try to like. I'm
Yeah.
here.
And I'll kind of adjust it as
Don't go
needed.
too low yet. All right, so we'll start off with just a circle warm-up, just to kind of get some blood flowing. If everyone remembers, like temperature, tissue, and tension, but just some light stretching just to move up. So we'll just go through again. Do what I do, or do what I say, not what I do. If I stop and talk, the tip will be next to you. So we're in our basement, nice and quiet. So give me some forward arm circles, just nothing really crazy, just like loosen up the joints, and then we'll get into just basic mobility. Can everybody hear me okay? And then backwards. Can everybody hear me? Yeah.
Yep.
All right, cool. This is so great. What, Stacy?
Nick, you can lock it so that you're the one that stays on the screen the whole time. I don't know how to do that though. But see, we're rotating through right now.
Pin video, maybe. There we
Oh.
go. Did that change it for anybody?
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, nope.
no, so it's still rotating through everybody.
Hmm. See?
Because you know what you have to do? You have to mute everybody and then we put it on speaker view. So you're the only one that's speaking.
Okay.
And so that your camera stays on you the whole time.
All right, I'm going to do that. I'm going to mute everybody now. If anybody needs to communicate with us, you can use the chat feature and I'll be watching that. So I'm going to mute everybody now.
That'd be the demo model.
So make sure you click speaker view in the top corner, people, if you just want to see.
Okay.
Hi, Pete.
Can you just didn't watch me do hip circles?
I have to figure this out.
Around town.
That's right, Ashley.
All right,
In another direction. This is as intense as we're gonna get because Tiff's like, "Hey Nick, you want to do a workout?" And I was so sore from yesterday and Friday and Thursdays, and I'm like, "How about we do mobility? I'm so sore." All right. So hands to the sky, and then reach to the floor. So you'll probably have to go a little lower when it's time to do floor work.
Yep.
Or bring it to the front edge of the. I don't like the mute all. I can't chat with you as much. So is that our screen kept getting bounced around?
Yeah, whoever was talking, that screen gets bounced around.
Some lateral lunges. Start off just kind of shallow, and then we'll go a little lower. Depending on how mobile you are, you can go feet on the floor. Or hands on the floor. Oh. And if you're wondering why I'm wearing a beanie, it's because it's like 50 degrees in our basement. Maybe we do need some music. And then just settle into a mobility squat for about 30 seconds here. Oh, can you see the timer in the video? You want to run
It's going to be backwards.
but they'll see moving numbers. It'll help me. So try to drive those elbows into those knees. Shift to the left, shift to the right. Keep that chest upright.
I'm going to slide this back a little bit.
Hold on, Tiff's gonna. There's our. Oh boy, Tiffany just zoomed out. All right, if you have room, just do some spine rockers. So just shift to the left or wherever you don't hit your head, rock forward. Again, we're just getting a little bit of temperature, and then we'll just do some nice stretching. Four, five. And then the T drill. So just kind of lift that foot, give it across, keep those shoulder blades back and down. And then go to the other side. What are they saying about me, Tiff?
Pete says it's 50 degrees at their house.
Yeah. In his bed. I thought Pete was supposed to turn it up to like 61. Then on your stomach, scorpion stretch. Just a couple times. Keep stepping over your opposite shoulder blade. You keep that arm out there in a T position for a nice shoulder stretch. And then about 5, up dog, down dog. So pull the belly button in, look to the sky, squeeze your butt cheeks to protect your back. And then drop your head, drop your heels. I'm like the worst example of down dog because of my hamstring flexibility. I don't know why Tiffany's not doing this with me.
Because I'm
I thought we were
managing
a power
this.
couple.
I'm just figuring this out.
I'm gonna pull the IT card next time and just sit by the laptop.
Yeah, that's going to work well.
I don't even know how to log into Zoom.
Says our head coach.
All right. So thinking about you doing kind of a, when we stretch like kind of like a toothpaste container from the bottom up or from the top down. There she is. All right, so we'll just start with the base calf stretch. So we don't, without using any tools, because people might not have those in their living room, just on all fours, drop your left leg back, right? And then try to sit your right leg over and just kind of settle in for about 30, 40 seconds. This will be probably one of the harder stretches that we do. Physically, just holding a plank. If it's too much, you can just kind of keep one knee supported and just kind of hang out, change the angle of that knee a little bit. What's that? That's what I was trying to do. Tiff's blonde hair is in the way. Wow, we're like full screen, huh? This is so sad. We can't see who's watching. And then other side, other calf. So bottom up would be, think like calves, hamstrings, quads, inner thigh, outer thigh, glutes, hip flexors. Fun stuff on Sunday morning coffee talk. Hey, where'd my mug go?
Oh yeah, we're supposed to put them in the front.
Yeah, where are they?
They're right here.
We both have mom fuel mugs today.
This is Nick's mug, everybody. I don't know if you can see it. It says Mom Fuel.
Mm-hmm. Thought we'd do some coffee talk. All right, so getting into the good stuff. If you have a mat, I'm a big fan of it. So getting to the hamstring stretches, we'll make it easy just for the start. So let's sit crisscross applesauce, or at least kind of butterfly position here. And then take your left leg out straight. Maybe in the screen it might look like my right leg. I heard everything flipped and reversed, like Missy Elliott. And then just try to keep your spine slightly neutral. We'll hold on to this for, let's say, a full 60 seconds. So on our clock, which probably looks backwards to you, oh, you can't see it anymore. All right, so we'll just go for 60 seconds. We should set a 1 minute timer. Do you have a watch? Tiffany's gonna set it so beep so you can hear it. So just kind of settle in. Just a reminder, our muscles get nice and warm and pliable. In about the 40-second mark of a stretch, they actually release a little bit more. I'll geek out just because I'm filling the void here. We have something called muscle spindles and Golgi tendons, and they act as if your muscle is getting injured when you first stretch. And so at about 35, 45 seconds, they release and relax if you have constant tension on them, and then you can kind of get into what we call like second gear. So you can kind of lean in a little bit more. So just apply consistent, steady tension. I'm just kind of leaning in. Huh? Oh, here's our cat.
Dale loves to come into any video that we do ever. I was telling this to Nick the other day. He was trying to make some videos for you guys.
Pete, this view's for you.
I was cracking up because our cat, literally anytime I try to make a video for work, our cat likes to sneak into the photo.
Switch to the other leg. And don't base the value of this video on our mobility routine. We'll be working out. You won't hear from me much if I'm working out with you. I'll just be breathing heavy with my hands on my knees. Ask Pete. He watches me daily and laughs.
1 hour timer, guys.
That's okay. I switch. So again, neutral spine, kind of square off your chest to that knee, leaning forward.
I think I see a notification, so I'm just going to check that on the screen.
Yes, let's do it, IT person. Maybe we're just here by ourselves and nobody's watching. How many people? I don't like the mute all. Talk. Another 20 seconds on this side. Again, if you flex your quad to the leg that's straight, that's going to help force the muscle, the opposing muscle, to stretch.
Hey, Shane. Saw you hopped
What's
on
up,
there.
Shane? No sandstorm today, buddy. It's been legs out straight, flex your quads, turn your toes out.
Justin hopped on. Oh, no, that's Ashley.
As best you can. I have a nice little lip on the end of my horse stall mat that I can grab onto, but if not, just kind of claw your hands forward. All right, so flex those thighs, reach down, keep that spine as neutral as you can. We don't want to be slouched forward and just rounding and stretching our upper back. We want to keep our spine neutral and then kind of reach forward and settle. And again, consistent, steady tension when you're stretching is probably one of the most important things. I'm very guilty of, I'll get into a stretch and then I'll get a little distracted by my phone or talking to somebody and I'll kind of come out of it a little bit. But again, for that muscle system to really relax and draw a little bit more length and get used to that, we need steady, focused tension. So just kind of, when you settle in, make sure you're kind of committed for the whole 30, 45 seconds or a minute or longer here. All right, so Dale's a big fan.
Mm-hmm.
It's our cat, Dale. He likes to play fetch.
He does.
Apparently we got a lot of cat people. This is like the third cat on the video.
It's like a cat meeting.
All right, so everybody's favorite pigeon stretch, settle in. So you're gonna take your, let's say right leg, but it's probably gonna look like my left one in the video. We're gonna try to keep this leg perpendicular and at about a 90 degree. If our knee is If we have knee histories, you want to show them like the office stretch, sitting on your bum. All right, so if you do have a knee history, oh, this is good. Tiffany could be like the scaled athlete. Neutral spine, and then across that ankle over your knee. And then on this one, what you want to try to do is drive your hip right by your foot into the floor, square your shoulders up, and then like your back knee is on ice, just slide your back knee a little bit deeper. And at the same time, relax your hip. The goal is to relax your hip, let this settle, take some exhales. Every exhale, just kind of let that glute release a little bit more. And now if you're really tight in this hip flexor, all right, you might feel this stretch more than the front hip, and that's okay. It's kind of going to the path of most resistance here. So for some, it's going to be the butt cheek, a little rotator here. For others, it might be that hip flexor. And it's already been a minute. Let's give it a switch to the other side. We'll work on a buzzing timer. All right, so I get my foot in position first. This is my tighter side, so I'm not going to look as perfectly perpendicular.
Next time we can set up our iPad.
Yeah, we'll have an iPad.
Mm-hmm.
I feel so lonely not talking to you. But luckily I have my mom fuel.
And our kids are still sleeping because their new bedtime is 10 o'clock apparently. That's the thing.
Yeah, Tiff and I set a tent up in our living room. Maybe I'll share the time lapse. And so far, each night, Tiff and I just fall asleep for an hour and a half while the kids watch a movie, and then we wake up and get out of our napping pod.
It's called the napping pod.
And then we put them to sleep. So who would have thought? All right, 10 more seconds here. And then we're going to get into everybody's favorite, the frog stretch. Bum, bum, bum.
That's also why we have to be in our freezing cold basement at 7 a.m. because there's no space in our living room.
One of our kids is like a detective. So if you make a squeak downstairs, he's awake. So drive those knees out nice and wide. Now, this is a great perspective. I'm yelling at people all the time in class. See how you can't see my feet? All right, this is not going to make the stretch as effective. So if I take my feet, look how I can see them. Hey, hey. There we go. Typical my style. All right, and then neutral spine, settle on the elbows, and then drive back as if I'm driving my butt into that ab mat hanging behind me. And then again, pretend your knees are slippery. Let them slide out a little bit more. Keep those feet in line. And settle back. My original game plan was I'm going to wake up at like 6, go for a trail run with the dogs. And then the bed was really comfortable. And by bed, I mean I fell asleep on the couch last night. All right. Let us know if we should play some background music or if you can hear me okay. I think we get some notifications there, Tiff. Okay. Send them. All right. And then from here, all right, we're going to go to our hip flexor stretch. So big stomp forward. I like my back knee on the mat. All right. Big stomp. Now this one is all about cueing. So it's actually more effective. Maybe you can go up with the camera a little bit. To keep your tummy tight. The goal from the side is when we're stretching, if I lunge forward, but I overarch my back, I'm getting nothing out of this. The goal is to release this hip. So I need to make sure my abs are tight. I'm bulletproof. Even my butt is squeezed. If I kind of engage these two and then I lean forward just a little bit, I should feel it start to pull on my hip flexor a little. And that's effective enough. We don't need to get super deep. Now, if we do get super deep, you just need to be aware and how to cue that, right? So you want to make sure that your ribs are down, that my butt cheek is on. Because again, if I get super deep into this, I'm forgetting about those. Chances are my lower back's already in an arch and I'm coming forward and I'm still keeping this guarded and protected, my hip flexor. So tummy tight. So stay here, work on your cueing. Kind of, if your hips were a bucket of water, you want to think about, in this case, pouring water out the back. The more you can pour water out the back of your hips and stay tucked, the better off we are. If we feel our hips tucked forward, then the worse off we are. So lean into it as little or as much as you can. I'm going another 15 seconds on this side because I think I've been lecturing more than I've been stretching. And again, what I do here to just dial in is I can kind of rotate my knee. If you can see my heel kind of rotating back and forth, squeezing that butt cheek, just kind of creating some length like taffy's being pulled apart right in the front here, focusing on the front half. All right, and you can even up the ante. Those who are like yogi ninjas could eventually grab their back knee, get all something pose.
Jen Hogan can do that.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm sure she'd smoke me on this. And then go to the other side. So other side hip flexor again. Cue your spine, nice and neutral. I'm gonna face forward so I don't just block Tiffany. And again, she's somebody who probably needs Tiffany because of her lordosis or her lower back curves. Needs to keep her tummy tight, squeeze her butt cheek tight. and then and only then lean forward as little or as much as possible. And again, you can kind of swivel the hips. Just working hitting some corners, as a great mobility coach would say. If anyone's checked out an Instagram or Facebook page called the Ready State, it used to be known as Mobility WOD. It's probably the mobility or flexibility guru of CrossFit, this gentleman named Kelly Starrett. He has some super California language as he talks, but he's been in the game longer than anyone. So if you're looking for anyone with elbow issues, shoulder issues, knee issues, lower back issues, you can find pretty much unlimited resources on his website within some free information. There's some membership information for like $30 a month or something. But you can just, even YouTubing it, you'll go down some rabbit holes that he provides some phenomenal information. And most of his stuff is done with a lacrosse ball, foam roller, or in a resistance band. Maybe an anchor, like I have a cement pillar right here. It's gonna help me with that.
Maybe when we share this video, we can share some resources that we're talking about.
Yeah. All right, so that kind of, we think of the checklist here. We did our calves, we did our hamstrings, we did our hip flexors, we did our inner thigh, we did our outer thigh with the pigeon stretch. So some basic ones. And for the arms, again, without just laying on the ground and looking at you, is we'll just start with triceps. So I think this one is very underrated in terms of how much we use it or how much you can use it. Grab your elbow, right? Reach down the center of your spine. And if you want to, staying on your knees, that's something that I've been thinking about lately. Try to keep your head up a little bit. I'm a little bit tight, so my chin is tucking down, and trying to reach my spine down the center of my back, like I have an itch in that spot that I can't reach here. I think kneeling and staying on your knees, it's been a dad moment for me. It's a great way to actually work on your hip flexors, so that when you're kneeling, if you're doing tasks, not sitting back on my butt like Tiffany, but just by kneeling and staying forward and keeping my hips level, that I can't really overarch or or tuck my hips too much. So it's gonna force me to lengthen the front because my knees are kind of caught behind me here. And then switch to the other arm. So go right side stretch here. And you can bend that arm. If you can see my arm in the background, as little or as much as you need to. T-Rex arms, Ashley. Let me know how you're doing.
We can barely reach our elbows, right, Ash?
Yeah. She's got another one in 515. John, her and John, they both push jerk at the same speed, nice and quick. But they don't like deadlifts. All right. So I'm gonna keep that head up. Try to keep the spine nice and neutral. Uh-oh, I'm getting a text. All right, so for your hand, for your like kind of internal rotation, we're gonna do two stretches. First one is I simply want you to lace your fingers behind your back like you're getting arrested. I want you to try to straighten out your elbows, and without tipping forward as best you can, I want you to just try to reach your arms and get as much length as you can. So a little active stretch here, and then you're gonna feel that open up and round up your spine. If you have an object, like if I was doing this now, I'd probably back up to the shelf, put my arms on the shelf, or I'd hold on to my post that you just can't see in the video, and I'd lift up. But for now, just create a little bit of length, right? You can do this with a PVC pipe, open up for about 25, 30 seconds. And this is just baby steps towards the crab walk for those still watching. How we doing? Huh?
We have 10
10
hanging out
people
with
watching?
us. Yep.
Huh?
Yes, 10 people hanging out with us.
I feel like some people canceled on us.
No, some people were just logging in because I told them to log in to practice logging into Zoom.
They were
So
like, next doing mobility, forget this. All right, maybe in future mobility sessions, I'll add like a rope of some sort so we can do kind of, remember the PVC pipe stretches where we kind of twist and twist out. And then I'm gonna go back to the floor. So this stretch is hard to cue, but bear with me, is we're going to sit on our bum. All right, I'm gonna lay down, I'm gonna lift my hips up. Now, just make sure I'm in the shot.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna put my wrists under my butt, but before I do that, I'm gonna pin my shoulder blades back and down like my shoulder blades are on a foam roller. So I'm gonna set my shoulders back and down like I'm pinching a $100 bill between my shoulder blades, and then I'm gonna drive my elbows into the floor, and I'm gonna sit on my wrists, not my hands, because my hands will flex a little bit. Sitting on my wrists, and as I slowly lower my hips onto my wrists, we should feel a slight stretch there. Now, depending on how flexible you are, but the real awareness is in making sure my shoulder blades don't round up off the floor here, all right? Because you'll like, oh, Nick, I'm so flexible, I can pass this stretch. But if I really pin those shoulder blades as hard as I can, all right, and I drop my hips nice and slow, I should feel that nice rotation, just like that right to remain silent stretch we do with bands at the gym, and just kind of settling in here. So it's all about shoulder blade posture on this one, and just kind of settling down, right? And if this is a miss, it just means maybe we're missing some cueing steps. And the next time you see a coach, we could work on this in person. But this is a great stretch, kind of a rotator cuff 101 right here for anyone with this health history.
Anyone else's glutes burning?
You need better
Just holding a
flexibility.
bridge.
That's definitely because Tiffany's internal rotation is awful. I used to have to do this with her all the time. All right, and then the nicer one, we can't get enough internal rotation, range of motion. And internal rotation for the shoulder, just because I love the lecture, means that we're rotating the arm in. All right, what happens to most of us is our shoulder girdle falls off the shelf and then we roll in, which is why things kind of get bad for us. So it's important to keep our shoulder blade on the shelf and then rotate this arm like a clickety-click wrench or a socket wrench is what I think of. So laying on your side, they call this the sleeper stretch, where you're gonna just lay on my side, my elbow out in front at 90 degrees, set my shoulder blade at the bottom, shoulder back and down, and then I like to press on my wrist, not my hand, because my hand can kind of fake it here, but I'm just gonna slowly rotate down as if I'm trying to get my palm to the floor. And again, if my elbow is at 90 degrees, right, you can see from this side, it should be a pretty effective stretch. If you go inside 90 or outside 90, you might feel like you're beating the stretch here, but as long as my arm is at 90 and I rotate down and I keep my shoulder blade back and down, like I'm trying to keep my armpit on the floor, totally eclipsing Tiffany. I'm sure you guys would rather see Tiffany than me. All right, we should be a pretty good stretch here, so you can just kind of drive down a little bit. How are we doing time-wise, Tiff?
We're at 7:25.
7:25. We'll go for a few more. Just a few more. And then go to the other side. So what's fun is I feel like a group fitness instructor. Tiff and I used to do group power together.
Yep.
And she would load more weight on the leg tracks than me.
We'd have to chat ahead of time.
Like off the
What our
speaker,
game plan was.
I'd have to be like, hey, take weight off so I don't look so bad. So shoulder blade back and down, rotate that elbow to the floor.
That was fun. I used to teach group power.
In like back in those days, I was like Pete's age or younger. And Tiffany used to yell at me all the time because there was a side mirror and I just watched myself do bicep curls because he had a really good pump.
While he was on stage.
While I was coaching like 20 people in front of
with
the class.
like a mic on.
Tiffany's like, Nick, you gotta stop looking in the mirror so much. I'd be like, yeah, but I got a good pump, Tiff.
And Jeff St. Laurent was like the superstar, like a famous celebrity.
Yeah, if you don't know the back in the day, Jen and Jeff St. Laurent, but Jeff was pretty much the whoever the coolest CrossFitter you think of these days in the OG, whether it's like a Chris Spieler or or Josh Everett or anyone like that. Jeff is like all over, even back in the day, 15 years ago, all of our posters nationally, not just at the local gym. And he used to teach the group pump classes. So he was like, when I joined the gym, I'm like, oh my God, this guy's famous. So he still is. He's a stud. I think Pete said he was just stalking his new website the other day, and it's pretty entertaining. All right, so for the shoulders, there's lots of other stuff we can do to open up. But again, those we'll start there with. We did a little bit of opening, a little bit of rotating, and it just forearms. So the last one here, we'll do 2 stretches, palms up, pinkies to the floor. All right. Now, in my world, you should be able to touch your pinkies. Okay. So if not, that's a shoulder flexibility issue, and your wrist and your forearms are at the expense of that. And then with those elbows straight, try to sit back. Try to get back a little bit more so you can see me. All right, so just kind of lean back as far as you can. We should have at least 90 degrees of flexion and extension at the wrist, meaning if you can't passively take your wrist and get about 90, right, maybe a little high here, a little bit of help, and then 90 this way, then we need to work on that. That's being years of our wrists being in kind of a fixed position, depending on your posture at work, your ergonomics. So sometimes we forget that over the years of whether we're driving or sitting or standing or working in an office or standing in front of a computer, depending on your profession, that our wrists just like do this the whole time. And we need to keep this range of motion active and open, or else it's going to travel upstream and either A, cause some wrist issues, some carpal tunnel, very chronic, very awful to have, elbow issues or even shoulder issues. Right? And then the next one is just have your flip your fingers. So if I have my hands here, fingers down, and like I'm punching the ground almost, just kind of leaning back, elbows straight, settle in a little bit. Maybe after the stretch we'll go off mute. Say hi to everybody.
Yeah, that sounds good.
What's so funny?
This one hurts more for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, see? Tiffany's learning something. The more you know. Awesome, team. So after a little bit of set, kind of elbows straight here, right? You can kind of rotate. Like if you try to rotate your elbow pits out a little bit more, you might feel a little more effectively. I don't know if you can see that in my sweatshirt, but in like a gorilla.
I was going to say, I feel like a gorilla. The boys and I were watching
National Geographic videos to learn about animals. And I feel like the gorillas.
All right. So Tiff will unmute it and then let us know maybe how you heard us. If we kept you entertained the whole hour with my mom fuel. Look at that. Oh, see?
Gallery view.
Are you talking crap the whole time? How'd we do?
Hey, BJ.
Hey.
I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to be driving and zooming at the
BJ,
same
don't
time.
listen. Don't listen to her. Don't listen to her. Just like me every time.
I felt like such a creep the whole time watching you guys.
Could you guys hear and see okay?
Yeah, volume was good.
Oh, nice.
Stacey, I love seeing your daughter crawl all over you during the wrist stretch.
Oh my God. I'm like, can you just hold on one more second?
Yeah. Oh, that's adorable. Yeah, if we get our kids, they'll be like hot lava land. This is so cute. Well, I guess that's it, guys. Thank you. So let us know if you had any like hiccups or anything like that, because that way Tiffany can communicate them to everybody else. Like if you had an issue with a login, for example, we went to go log in on my computer and apparently my camera was off, and here we are hosting it. And I'm like, crap, we gotta go. Well, Tiffany was like that. I was the one running late. And but yeah, hopefully this works out. And then let us know. Just keep the questions coming in terms of equipment, homemade equipment. I think Tiffany shared some of my videos that Pete really loved in terms of me holding my cat. And I think that's it. Have a wonderful Sunday morning with Coffee Talk.
Thank
Cool.
you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for logging in, guys. You really help out. This means a lot.
Bye.
Now go to Open Gym.
Now I have to figure it out.